So in these maps of the activities that we've talked about, right, there are lots of lines. Now let's talk a little bit more about what is actually a line in these activity systems. Because it's quite often easy, right, to draw lots of bubbles and to take out your pen and go, right, and you have all of these lines, but could we really justify every line that we have drawn on these systems? So let's become a bit more precise about what we mean by complementarity among activities. So one formal definition about the complementarity between two activities is the following. Activities A and B are complementary if doing more of activity A increases the marginal benefit of doing more of activity B and vice versa. Now, for the engineers who are looking in, this is very obvious, right? If we have a profit function, right, and that function is a function of various activities that we are engaged in, then what does it mean that two activities are complementary? Well, of course, it means that our cross-partial derivative is positive. Well, now for those of us who don't have an intuitive understanding about cross-partial derivatives, we probably need a different thought experiment, right? To go through and asking, are these two different activities actually complementary or not? So the way I do this usually is the following. I identify my two variables that I think maybe are complementary to each other. And I pick one variable and I put it at a low level. Now I ask, what is the marginal benefit in this world where that first variable is at a low level? What is the marginal benefit of increasing my second variable? Then I think about a different world in which that first variable is at a high level. Now I ask again, what is the marginal benefit here? And the marginal benefit up here should be better higher than down here. So let's take an example. So let's say we're thinking about flexible machinery, right? Machinery where we can very easily go from one product to another product, and the product variety that a company offers. And my feeling is these two activity choices are complementary. So here's what we're doing. We're saying, let's take one variable, let's say the flexibility of our machinery, and let's put this at a low level. So let's say we have very inflexible machines. Now we ask, what is the benefit of increasing our product variety by a little bit? Well, given that we have these very inflexible machines, right, the benefit of increasing product variety is not that high, because our cost is fairly large of increasing product variety. But now, if we have high flexibility in our machinery, what is now the marginal benefit of increasing product variety? Well, now it's larger because the cost of doing so is much lower. Now we have to do the vice versa of that condition. So now we take the other variable, product variety, and we say, assume we are in a world where we have very few products in our product lineup. Now, what's the marginal benefit of increasing the flexibility of our machinery by a little bit? Well, given that we have only very few products, the marginal benefit of investing in flexible machines is fairly low. Now assume we are in a world where we have lots of products, big product variety. What is now the marginal benefit of investing in the flexibility of our machinery? Oh, now the marginal benefit is much higher. So again, we have shown that the marginal benefit of one variable increases in the level of the other and vice versa. All right, let's take a second example. Let's stick with product variety, but let's think about investing in our inventory control system. So again, I have an intuitive feeling that these two things are complementary to each other. So again, let's take one variable, product variety. Let's start with that and say, assume we have very few products in our product lineup. What's the marginal benefit of investing in a better inventory control system? Well, given that we have few products, the marginal benefit of doing so is relatively low. Now assume we are in a world where we have lots and lots of products in our lineup. What is now the marginal benefit of improving our inventory control system? Well, now it's larger because we have all of these products that we need to keep track of. So again, the marginal benefit of investing in inventory control increased in the level of product variety. Now let's do it the other way around. Now let's say we have a very poor inventory control system. What is now the marginal benefit of increasing our product variety? Well, given that we have a hard time keeping track of our inventory, increasing product variety is probably not such a good thing, so the benefit of that is relatively low. Now compare that to the case where we have a really excellent inventory control system. Now what's the marginal benefit of increasing the product variety? Now it's much larger. So again, we've shown, right, that the marginal benefit of one increases in the level of the other. So I would encourage you to go home, pull the shades so your neighbors don't see you, right? And work that through with your hands, because that is really, in some sense, the logic, right? You want to go through when you draw out activity systems and ask yourself, are two activities or are two choices complementary to each other?